you were starting a new project for the people becoming the representatives instead of global interests, I guess.
Well, I guess the point there is we need to represent ourselves because our representatives are representing themselves and their special interest groups, and there's a gap in goals there. I'm really probably the most hopeful about you and people like you and me, local people, being able to make a change.
I'm kind of interested, throughout your many years of being an activist, what are the main experiences you felt have been a foothold in where you are today?
I think I had most of my experience in the desegregation period in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is the capital city, and we planned a desegregation effort for that city, and had a lot of experience in door-to-door and conversations, but it's really the influence that we had on the government of the city.
I'm curious to know, how has voting evolved since the Vietnam protests or the desegregation?
I think the key thing is improvements in voter registration. More people are voting, but I think the information about what you're voting on is really limited because candidates are chosen not by us. They're chosen by special interests. Money is a key factor. Do you have money to run? So the vote is not as important because you don't have a real choice of someone who will represent what you feel. And so that gap of the candidate says, I'm going to do this, this is what I'm going to do if I'm elected. And I think the spirit of the campaign that I'm working on is we talk about what we want and we represent that change, because ultimately, even if there's a change of law, at a federal or a state level, that law has to be implemented, and that's whether we obey it. I think we've been lethargic, and I think we've been slow to respond to the real challenges because we want someone else to take care of it. I have a platform that I made general, that seemed to represent what people were worried about and fearful about, and said, hey, let's look at it. And to me, the basic change comes down to how I look at you. If I'm really wealthy, and I want to make profit, then I don't care whether I fire you, and we're seeing that. There's lots of work. There's work all over the place. But we have millions of people unemployed because no one wants to hire them and pay them to do the work. Now we got to look at what's ridiculous about the beliefs we hold, not only about our economy and our government, but how we view each other. Like, do you think you're better than I am because you have an education? Do you think you're better than I am because you have more money than I have? It's like, I think we've bought into, for example, I think we've been cloned to be consumers. We're better consumers than we are citizens. And my call is, hey, where did you disappear? You are the future, and how you view it is a matter of how you view each other in terms of valuing yourself and evolving your consciousness.
It's difficult because I feel like, yes, we're on a path of change, and there's good coming out, surfacing up from the corporations, the evil underworld. But really, technology, it's an inhibitor because there's so many distractions.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah, because the internet, it's 80% entertainment, 10% activism, and 10% who knows. The phrase "kids these days," I'm sure you have used it in your time. Younger generations not following the path that you think they should be. And I even say that. I'm 21 and I'm a kid, and I see these children. There isn't
a focus in the curriculum of teaching us how to get along with each other. And that seems to me the most important school thing. I mean, bullying is a real issue in
Now it's cyberbullying.
Yeah, yes, cyberbullying
Facebook,
and
it's,
people committing suicide because they're maligned online. I think young people need inspiring uh, by us elders, uh, that they're the ones that will bring the change about. We need to give them worthy goals because they have the energy. Personal change, I'm talking about. I think it's personal change that has to occur. And you're right, it's really hard to motivate people to do that. But if you have self-respect, if you have love of self and love of other, then the kindergarten admonition of sharing and caring can be, I want to see it be a reality in terms of your generation and mine too. It has to start with you and me. And if I'm looking at you from my head, evaluating, and I have no connection to your heart, and we don't act together, nothing happens. The golden rule, as simplistic as that may, and old-fashioned as that may be, is do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And so if you have that as your motivation, say, wow, you have a friend who's dissing another friend. You say, hey, I don't want to hear bad stuff about somebody. I want to see somebody in the best light. How do we help this person change from negative to positive? In other words, it'll be a totally different basis for how we relate to one another. For example, the second idea on the platform is maintaining a healthy, joyful lifestyle. Now, we're having a big to-do about health care. Well, it's not about health care at all. It's about sick care. It's like when you're sick, when you're injured, and what drugs are you taking to heal your malady, whatever that may be. We know that exercise is good. We know that diet is good. We know that being happy and laughing and celebrating, feeling, wow, life is terrific. I'm so glad I'm alive. That kind of energy makes such a difference in how you approach your life. Part of the change has got to be sharing. If you've got lots of money, are you willing to share? Because money is going to the top. It's not being shared among us. Almost 90% of the people are just making it. And we have a group of people who are controlling the jobs and the money in the country. Are we interested in who doesn't eat? And that's something that is word of mouth. I mean, you just can't be isolated in your house with your washing machine and your dishwasher and your things and not be concerned about the people we see. I mean, there has to be a real commitment to seeing each other as equals. As a person who's approaching my 80th birthday, it's really interesting that people will say to me, wow, you have so much energy and spirit. And I think, well, hey, my spirit doesn't get old, my body may change, but the spirit has to be nourished with still feeling part of the community. Visit your elders, take them out, have dinner with them, do things, because they are alone. And a lot of our families are all across the country. So you can be my age, for example, and I have immediate family member. I have a lot of very close friends. But how do we address the fear of growing old, which is a very common thing, clear up to women in their 50s and 60s who are getting Botox injections and facelifts. We're concerned about the appearance of looking old rather than the substance of still thinking life is the greatest and it's a miracle and that it's exciting. And our elders need to be engaged with young people.
So to make an actual tangible change in our community, I think you need to show the young people that they can actually make a difference, whether that be through this TV show of highlighting activism in the community where things have actually changed. I think kids need to realize that they've got power, they've got social power, even if they're just sitting at home Facebooking and playing video games. They've got to realize that if they get out there and they make a video and they show somebody else
How to do it.
or see from somebody else how to do it, how to write your congressman, how to register for voting. There's these tutorials, like your breathing video. There's things online, which is where they are a lot of the time. There's things online to show them that they can physically make a difference that will change their mentality.